Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes, whom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will ultimately have mercy upon. I'm your brother Matazal Bath, resided from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. Back again with another breaking news, all right? And this is going to be an edition of News and Prophecy, okay? And what you see here is from skynews.com, all right, which is a breaking news story dealing with President Donald J. Trump, who released a 33-second video of an AI showing footage of him rebuilding the Gaza Strip, all right? And so what I'm going to do is I want to let this news play. Now, this is fair use, all right? This is fair use, all right? And let's get into it because things are picking up and prophecy is happening.
Donald Trump has reposted this on Truth Social, showing his AI vision for the future of Gaza.
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one.
It's hard to really know what to say.
I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, he's selling an idea, and he's doing it in a way that attracts the maximum of attention. And here we are, Gareth, we're actually talking about it. But it's essentially it's a glossy brochure for his idea, his solution to the conflict in Gaza. He's going to turn it, and he sketched out this idea a couple of weeks ago. He's going to turn it, he says, into the Riviera on the Mediterranean. It's a demolition site, he says. He's going to level it. He's going to clear it out. He's going to resettle 2.3 million Palestinians in neighboring countries. He says that this is what he is planning to do. And here we are. He's visualizing it for us. Redevelopment is the solution in Trump's mind for the problems in Gaza. There are all sorts of problems with this. Start with the fact that it flies in the face of international law, that it would constitute, in the minds of many, ethnic cleansing. But here we are. He has felt the compulsion to have this video made. I mean, that's a glitzy production. He's put it out there. And he says, look, that's the solution. This is what I can do.
It's, though, not a brownfield site in New York City, is it? This is flying in the face of everything that the United States has tried to achieve over the course of decades of a two-state solution, which is still technically US government policy. It flies in the face of everything that regional partners and allies say wouldn't work. And then, in almost the middle of the night, post this without any comment as well, just punts out this AI video that shows Elon Musk eating hummus and throwing cash in the air.
I mean, that is one of the features of the video, isn't it? You've got a selection of older white men enjoying this Riviera on the Mediterranean. Trump, who spends much of his time in this video embossed in gold. You've got the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by the pool drinking cocktails, and Elon Musk spraying cash around. I mean, it is an extraordinary video. A lot of people are going to find it offensive, right? I mean, but I think it's an example of how Donald Trump certainly feels untethered to the norms, the agreements, the expectations of the past. He is charting a new pathway, whatever we say, whatever anybody says. He's heading in a new direction.
Certainly is. We are going to get more reaction to images like the one we're just seeing on our screens right now here on Sky News through the course of the morning. For the moment, though, John, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So, yeah, there you have it. All right. And straight to the point. All right. Let's get a precept in the book of Habakkuk 2. All right. At verse 12, it says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. Because the individual mentioned that the allies, they're going to see it as it goes against international code. All right. And also they will consider it to be ethnic cleansing. And so I ended up finding this article, all right, on Reuters. It says Trump faces backlash over his AI video of Gaza. Now, this is recently just published February 27th, 2025. All right. So let me just get straight to the point. It says President Trump shared an AI generated video on social media depicting Gaza as a beach resort with himself and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sunbathing together. And the AI video was criticized by people living in Gaza who saw it, saying the images did not include its current inhabitants. All right. And Palestinian resident Jabalia Muhammad said, and I quote, "Suddenly, while I was checking my mobile phone, I found that Trump, the president of the United States of America, published a video showing that he wants to rebuild Gaza after displacing its people. So we are asking him, why displace its people? Why doesn't he say, welcome, come and rebuild Gaza with its people in it? Its people can rebuild it. He can pay money, fix things, and free us from this occupation." All right. So as you can see, that AI clip is starting to cause a lot of controversy, and then so much so, even I'm waiting on some more information to come out on it, because as I stated, I'm going back to the clip. See, I think it's about right here.
See, it flies in the
So let's go back a little bit more. Just pay attention to what this guy said.
In Gaza, there are all sorts of problems with this. Start with the fact that it flies in the face of international law, that it would constitute, in the minds of many, ethnic cleansing.
So that part right there, okay, international law and ethnic cleansing, all right? Because now you're going to start seeing people, or not people, but you're going to start seeing America's allies, they're going to be against it, all right? And they're already on bad terms with each other when it comes to the Ukraine war, because now it wasn't a good look of President Trump having a meeting with Putin about a week or so ago and not allowing for some of the allies to come into that meeting. All right. So, you know, through the spirit, we can see that this is possibly setting the stage. All right. And we'll see later on as the, time goes on. But we can we're seeing the stage being set of the beast hating the whore. OK, because the beast represents what? NATO and the EU, man. All right. And then you add to this that this man has the audacity to want to go in and rebuild the land, which is not theirs, and nor is it the so-called Palestinians in the land today. That's not their land anyway, because as a matter of fact, when you get the scriptures, let's get Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. All right. And it says real quick, straight to the point, verse 5. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea." All right. So you have the heathen nations and Idumea, okay, which is Greek for saying Edom. All right. Referring to Esau, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Okay. Because the scriptures tell you a bastard would dwell in Ashdod, man. And that's how you know that the true people are not in the land. The true biblical Israelites are not in the land. Okay. Let me say it again. The true biblical Israelites are not in the land. All right. So these devils, right now we're in the time of Luke 21 and 24, which let's grab that real quick. Okay, this is the time that we're in. Luke 21 and 24, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations." And that happened 66 to 70 AD. "And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Because since the Israelites were driven out between 66 and 70 AD, Remember, some of the Israelites listened to Yahweh Shai and they fled into the mountains. They went up into Africa. Some went up towards the Mediterranean Sea in Europe. Okay. But the ones who didn't listen, they stayed back, and eventually they were all unalived. Some were captured and put into the slave trade. All right. And since then, we haven't been in our land, man. That was the last time we actually saw our land. OK. And since then, the Gentiles, the heathen nations, mainly Esau, Edom, they have covered that land. They've taken over that land. You see, because ultimately what you Jakes out there have to understand, and the rest of you people who are really ignorant to the fact that, all right, the true biblical Israelites are not in the land, man. And this is a big deal because this is prophecy. And so we are in a time of the Gentiles being fulfilled, meaning their time is up possessing that land. That's why, you know, you hear the saying, oh, they've always been fighting over there in the Middle Eastern for thousands of years and stuff, because they don't belong in that land. Right. So to back up what I'm saying, all right, this is a master plan of the Illuminati Rothschilds, to just touch a little bit based on the history to show you that the bankers, they understand not only who they are as a people, OK, but you're going to find out that they have control of that land. And see, Trump, he's just the puppet piece. OK, because really what the top elite, all right, the upper echelon, all right, the chief, all right, of Amalek, they want to establish Jerusalem as the headquarters for their new world order. Right now, this is a interview, all right, from Ron Patton, who is the interviewer, and he interviews Marion Knox. And Marion Knox, being a former gospel singer, all right, he actually had ties in working for the Rothschilds. All right. And one of the questions that Ron Patton asks Marion, he says, can you be more specific as to the role the Rothschilds play into all of this? OK. And this was Marion's response. He said, well, most people who are into conspiracy know the Rothschilds are the most powerful family in the world. But you really don't hear about the details related to how they have set themselves up to be king of the Jews and to usher in the Antichrist. It says it was the Rothschilds who financially backed the nation of Israel so they could eventually set up the throne for the Antichrist in Jerusalem. All right. And you had a man by the name of, see if I can get my book here, Salakia. But you had a guy whose name was Benjamin H. Freeman. All right. Benjamin H. Freeman. And he was responsible for shedding details on how during World War I, all right, and Salakia, I can't seem to find my book because I wanted to touch on that history. Let me see. Salakia, here it is right here. See if I can get this book for you brothers and sisters. Salakia for all the background noise. But anyway, you had a man by the name of Benjamin H. Freeman. Okay, now Freeman, all right, he was a so-called Jew, right? Now I'm just going to touch on this history in page 8 of his book entitled Facts Are Facts, so I can give you that history before I continue reading this article. So it says here, during the time of World War I, it says, while that was going on, the Zionists in Germany, who represented the Zionists from Eastern Europe, went to the British War Cabinet. And I am going to be brief because it's a long story, but I have all the documents to prove any statement that I make. All right. This is Benjamin H. Freeman. OK. And this is what he said pertaining to the real history. And he quoted, "Look here, you can yet win this war. You don't have to give up. You don't have to accept the negotiated peace offered to you now by Germany. You can win the war if the United States will come in as your ally." OK, so this is where it all started. It says the United States was not in the war at the time. We were fresh. We were young. We were rich. We were powerful. They told England, will guarantee to bring the United States into war as your ally to fight with you on your side if you will promise us Palestine after you win the war. See, this all goes back to the Rothschild, man. This all goes back to the banking elites. It says, in other words, they made this deal. We will get the United States into the war as your ally, and the price you must pay is Palestine after you have won the war and defeated Germany, Austria and Hungary, Slovakia, and Turkey. And now England had as much right to promise Palestine to anybody as the United States will have to promise Japan to Ireland for any reason whatsoever. Now, when you look up, let's go here. You look up Jacob Rothschild and Balfour Declaration. See if they still got that video on the net. Because he made there's a, not the one that they did at his house, but he made a speech. Yeah, YouTube. Here it is. Let me see.
So I've been asked to introduce Jacob, and I'll keep it relatively swift.
This is fair use.
I will focus on.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about Boston. It's just over an hour from London.
Now, this speech, he basically goes into how they took over the land of Jerusalem, all right? And you can look this up, Lord Rothschild's presentation, November 8, 2018. Just look that up, all right? Now, I'll play this little short so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's check this out.
The Foreign Office, November the 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
His Majesty's...
You see how it's been approved. Now, remember, we read from Benjamin H. Freeman that the same Zionists in Germany represented the Zionists also in Eastern Europe, and they came to England and wanted England to promise them the land of Jerusalem. Okay, remember that.
Government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
There you go. All right. Now, let's bring out the facts, the receipts. So Ron Patton asked Marion. This is what Marion responded to. Well, most people who are in the conspiracy know the Rothschilds are the most powerful family in the world, but you really don't hear about the details relating to how they have set themselves up to be king of the Jews and to usher in the Antichrist. And it was the Rothschilds who financially backed the nation of Israel so they could eventually set up the throne for the Antichrist in Jerusalem. This is why you always see America always has ties into helping Israel. OK, when you put it all together, it says, and yet during World War II, their money and resources were used to kill millions of Jews. But these were seen as the expandable Jews from the house of Jacob. OK, it says, and really what it was, when you understand that history, and I got to be very careful of what I say, otherwise YouTube will flag my video and take it down. But basically what happened during the H word. All right. And you should know what I mean by that. They just used that as a deploy to basically funnel the project of bringing what they deem as the restoration of the JEWs. Right. And so they used that time in history to give them clearance to pretty much take over the land, man. So when you have people that say, oh, man, the Palestinians and the Jews, they've been going back and forth for thousands of years. It's not that they've been going back and forth for thousands of years. It's just that they trying to get control of the Holy Land. But the real people is not in the land, man, due to prophecy. Right. So it goes on to say But it says, remember, these guys have the audacity to use the Bible as a blueprint to take over the world. That's why you see Benjamin Netanyahu, all right, anytime he was doing ethnic cleansing, all right, on the so-called Palestinians, he will always use scripture to back up, all right, his stance and to solidify on the ethnic cleansing that he was doing. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I see you Jakes out there, man. You guys don't know anything, man. And then you Jakes that come up against us talking about something, we're not the people, we're Africa, this, that, and the third. But you don't never question, okay, Esau when he does this shit to say, you know what? That's not what the scriptures is actually alluding to. Who are you people? You will never question him. But as soon as we come out with information and tell you what's really going on, now all of a sudden you want to come down on us and talk shit. You see? Now, Miriam goes on to say, let me give you some background information. On one level, the Rothschilds secretly call themselves the House of David and from the tribe of Judah, which is a lie. Okay. And this is why the scripture says when they take over a land, okay, and the people of it, let's get Psalms 49 and 11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. So what do you think happened when they took over the land of the true biblical Israelites? They started calling themselves the house of Jacob. They started calling themselves double O's, as we like to call it. Okay. And the scriptures tells you this, man. They have stolen the true biblical Israelites' identity, man. You see? So it goes on to say, now the Rothschilds translated from German to English means red shield. During biblical times, the Edomites' fortress was the red rocks of Petra, and Esau, the twin brother of Jacob, was described as red and hairy. So this information fits perfectly with the survivors have been telling me, that on a deeper level, the Rothschilds are also claiming to be descendants of Esau. Right, because they know that they're Esau, Edom. Okay, that's why they're trying to rush to establish their new world order. That's why they're allowing Trump, giving him the green light to go over there and to rebuild. You see, it says that on a deeper level, the Rothschilds are also claiming to be descendants of Esau and thus are really from the house or tribe of Esau. And what they are trying to do is get the birthright back from the house of Jacob, who are the real Jews. So it's no coincidence why you see, all right, let's go back to that statue. All right, let's see if we can do it. There's no coincidence why this is happening right here, man. No coincidence at all. But see, like I said, once again, don't be distracted from the fact that Trump is he's just a puppet piece, man. OK, it's really the bankers, all right, who's controlling everything from behind the scenes, man. OK, so it says, however, the book of Obadiah talks about the destruction of the Edomites in the last days. Hey, vocab, no precept Malone. That's a cut to you because you always want to hang shit about Obadiah already happened. Right. Saying that the Edomites were done away with, which you changed up your tune and admit that the Edomites are here. Right. But this guy who's an insider who worked for the Rothschilds told you that the book of Obadiah speaks about what will happen to the Edomites in the last days, which proves what? The Edomites are still here today. You see? So it says, so this leads us to another interesting point in Revelation 3:9. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And really, when you go into Revelation 3:9 and you understand the history, that was actually speaking about us, the Israelites, because you had the different Pharisees or whatnot that were pretty much acting like damn devils, man. OK. Even though they were of the stock of Jews, but really they were of Satan because of their wicked deeds. All right. But see, through the spirit, as the scripture says, we compare spiritual things with spiritualness. All right. Through the spirit, we liken that precept also unto Esau, Edom, because you have Amalekites over there in the Holy Land that are claiming to be of us, the true biblical Israelites. And indeed, they are not, man. OK, they are the physical counterpart of the seed of Satan, all right, here on the planet Earth. Okay. So it says, then I asked the question, who is the synagogue of Satan? The only logical conclusion I can come up with is the Illuminati Rothschilds. All right. So there you go. OK, so these devils. All right. As the scripture says, let's get Jeremiah 49. Salakia, not limitations. Jeremiah 49 and 7. It says, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Because see, now they're being, inquisition is being made against them. They're losing control of the narrative. And see, now we're in a time where this devil is truly about to show his horns. And because pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12, where he knoweth that he have but a short time, you're going to see more and more moves of them taking over. All right. Not giving a damn about what the world thinks, their allies, this, that, and the third. Right. Drop down to verse 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. You see? So let's go from there to Micah 2 and 2. I'll start at 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, because this is an evil thing. And what makes it an evil thing? Well, when you go back to the law, let me see here, Deuteronomy 19 and 14. It says laws of landmark and testimony. It says, thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit the land that Yahweh thy power giveth thee to possess it. But see, remember when you deal with Esau's blessing in Genesis, the 27th chapter, what did it say this devil will do? Genesis 27, all right, and 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. So to have the fatness of the earth, you have all the resources, you have all the best lands. OK, well, there are still lands and islands today that we, all right, the masses of the people don't even know exist because you don't have access to go to those lands, man. But the super rich elite, they have access to those lands. OK, so they have the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. And here's the main point, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So on one end of the spectrum, it said that Esau will live by the sword. That's how he was able to conquer. OK. And as it showed you in this video, Trump is bringing in that demolition crew to push further out what's left so that he can clean it up and turn it into what they want it to be. This is why it says, going back in Micah 2 and 2. All right. Let me read verse 1 again. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Because right now they are in their blessing and they covet fields and take them by violence and the houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Now let's read that in a different translation. OK. Actually, let me get it in the NLT. NLT says, when you want a piece of land, you find a ways to seize it. And when you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. You cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. Right now, make no mistake about it. The so-called Palestinians, that's not their land. OK, that's our land. Right. But see, even though you still going to pay because you've went around the world. OK, and you've heaped it unto yourself all people, man, by taking over their lands. And then after the fact that you took it over their lands, you now are calling yourselves after those names. That's why you call yourself American, Canadian, Australian, European. You're every other name other than your biblical nationality, which is Esau, Edom. You see? So, that's pretty much the point of this lesson. And I just thought that, this was interesting. But, we're going to see how this all pans out, because like I said, I'm still waiting for more information to come out. But it's already been said that a lot of the allies, they are against this concept, man. Okay? So we gonna see, all right, the beast is getting very angry with the whore, man. All right? So with that, I'm gonna leave off there, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. Let's on to the next Lord's will. Shalom.